welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to dive deep into the topic that many of you might relate to, the signs of being an empath. So if you've ever felt deeply connected to others, sensitive to their emotions, or easily overwhelmed, you might be an empath. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Samantha Vidal. I'm a women's spiritual empowerment coach who helps empower empaths to awaken their spirit by dissolving and releasing energetic blocks to access inner peace, build self-trust with their intuition, and to create the life you love and deserve. Let's explore some common signs that can help you to identify you're being an empath. So common signs of being an empath. Number one, intense empathy, feeling the emotions of others deeply, taking on emotional burdens of loved ones, experiencing physical sensations related to others' emotions. So you may feel when someone's in the room, you're picking up their emotions. So if you see someone crying, you're going to feel like crying. And it can also depend on proximity as well. Sometimes, for some empaths, you have to be in the vicinity and actually physically touching. But for most empaths, it's just being in the space and being close enough to somebody to pick up that energy. And you also may find that you pick it up from watching TV commercials, if you try the drop of a hat, watching commercials, which I know that I've done many a time. If I see someone's face is sad, I will just get sad. If I see someone smiling, it will make me happy. So all of those things can affect you as an empath, and your own emotions. You'll feel overwhelmed with other people's emotions, and sometimes it's hard to distinguish what's yours and what's someone else's. So just being aware of the emotions that you're picking up, whether they're yours or not. You also find that watching movies may affect you more deeply than you expect. Watching TV and watching the news can be very difficult for an empath because we do take that up. I remember as a child watching the news or commercials that were heavy, and I would want to feel like I need to save the world. I needed to do something. It would affect me deeply, where just the pain was so strong that I felt helpless and wasn't able to help, especially as a kid. I would go to my family and ask, can we help in some way? And the response was not the response I would want. So that was very hard as a child being an empath. And as you get older, you're able to act on those things in different ways, but also being aware of how you're being affected emotionally and limiting your amount of time watching TV, choosing to be clear on the things that you are watching that bring you joy, that don't affect your vibration and make you feel too low. The number two, being highly sensitive, being easily overwhelmed by sensory stimuli, reacting strongly to noise, light, or crowds, feeling deeply affected by your environment. So it's really important to be aware of what's in your environment, keeping it light and airy, choosing to have things that bring you joy in your space. You also might find because can get overstimulated very easily. Again, you may want your space to be a little bit on the quieter side, a little bit spacious, and having those things that in your space that light you up, like crystals or candles or any of those things. But again, being aware of how those may affect you at particular times, because being sensitive, you can be sensitive to the vibration of the crystal, and it may activate you in a way that you don't want to be activated, particularly if it's in a bedroom. You may not want to have particular crystals with you unless they're ones that are going to help you to relax. So just being aware of how things affect you and start playing around with those things to see, and keeping a journal of, this crystal affects me this way, or this thing overstimulates me. and becoming more aware of that. And the more you get to know yourself, the more you're able to manage your energy. So just being aware of that and also knowing, okay, if being in a crowd is a lot for you, like going to concerts or going to the mall, just doing some things to protect your energy, but also knowing, okay, when I'm going into a crowd, then maybe I need some quiet time when I go home for a bit. And it might be 5 or 10 minutes, it might be a little bit longer, but just being aware and having those rituals ready for you to go. Maybe you need to have a shower, maybe you need to have a bath, some Himalayan salt water or essential oils. Those may be some things that you might want to incorporate when you've been in a crowd or overstimulated by loud noise like a concert and lights and that kind of thing. Just knowing that you may need to go in a room and be quiet and have it silent and but have those things in place for you so that you can recharge. You have a strong intuition, having a gut feeling that is often accurate, sensing the energy of people and places, receiving intuitive messages or insights. Um, what quite often happens with an empath's intuition, your intuition is very strong, but not necessarily trust it. So that's why it may or may not be accurate because it's based on whether you're trusting your instincts and your intuition. So the more you practice and the more you get comfortable with who you are, your intuition's going to build and you're going to have it's going to just be so accurate so much more often. Sensing the energy of other people and their in places. You may go into a place and let's say you go into a store and you can feel the energy is either good or bad or negative or positive. And you may set someone just had an argument. So you'll pick up that energy. Or going into an older building, you might pick up the energy of that, whatever transpired in that building, and take that on. And there may be places that you just feel repulsed by, that you just have to, I gotta go. This is just too overwhelming, or just feels like you can just feel in your body the intensity of whatever transpired there. And so you may just feel like you need to flee. So just being aware of that when you go into those different places and receiving intuitive messages or insights, just again, picking up information when you're psychic information from people, as well as the places that you're going into as to what may have transpired in there previously, or what may have transpired with maybe somebody who's sitting next to you on a bus, and just being aware of that you're picking up that information. And quite often you can be very tired by the time you go home because you, as an empath, you are picking up information constantly, transmuting the energy to make it better for yourself, but also for others because that's just who we are. Number 4, compassion. Wanting to help others and make a difference, feeling strong connection to nature and animals, sacrificing your own needs for the sake of others. So one of the things that empaths often do is give at the detriment of themselves because we want the best for everybody and we will just keep giving and giving and giving and giving until we have nothing to give and end up making ourselves sick or exhausted and depleted. So just being aware of how much compassion you have and empathy you have, because like I said earlier, we automatically are transmuting energy. So that's why people will sit beside us and they feel better and they will empty out their life story to us without us even asking. And so we're transmuting it and feeling compassion and empathy and healing and all of that. Just being aware that we're doing that on an ongoing basis so we can feel tired. So that's why it is really important to take time to recharge, have boundaries, decide what you will and will not do. So just being clear on that. And it's important to go in nature to recharge. And that's also why we have a strong connection to nature. And we have a strong connection to animals because of the unconditional love that they have. And as, of course, as empaths, we always want to help others and make a difference. It's just who we are. It just is so important to us, but it is important to be aware of how much you are willing to give and giving yourself that time to recharge. Number five, social sensitivity. So picking up on social cues and unspoken emotions, avoiding conflicts and seeking harmony, feeling drained after social interactions. So just knowing you pick up a lot of information when you're interacting with people. So you pick up the emotions, you're picking up on reading people's actions, body language, like a whole bunch of information that you pick up on that a lot of other people don't. So just being aware of how much you are picking up. As empaths, we do try to avoid conflict and seek harmony. Quite often we're in the flight, flight, freeze, fawn modes. Our nervous system can be on hyperactive. So just again being aware of doing some self-soothing activities for your body so that when there is conflict, you're able to move through it. So things like breathing, doing some deep breathing, some box breathing. So that can be breathing in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, and then hold for 4, and just keep that cycle. Or you can do uneven numbers. I like to do breathing in for 5, hold for 5, out for 5, breathing in for 8, hold for 8, and then out for 8. So that just calms the nervous system down. Some of the other things you can do is one of the simple things, particularly if you're doing a phone conversation and interacting that way, because some things are hard to do when you're in a location. The breathing is easy to do and conceal, but just putting your hands behind your head and relaxing back like that helps to calm the nervous system down. Doing those kinds of things to regulate your body again so that you're not feeling stressed in those potential conflict situations. Just having those things to keep that harmony for yourself. And of course, feeling drained after social interactions, which is normal. Again, because we've talked about you're trans for everybody and being on high alert, looking for those potential conflicts or potential what do I need to go and fix? So just being aware of that again. And so when you do go home, do either a shower or a salt bath, have that alone time, put some music that soothes your soul, any of those things that you have in your toolbox that you know that soothes you and helps you, that are positive, and then keep your vibration high. That all those things will help you move through and feel less drained so that you can get on with your day without feeling taken down for hours and hours and hours or days on end after those sort of social interactions. So remember, these are some common signs of being an empath. If you resonate with many of these, you might be an empath. Embrace your unique abilities and use them to make a positive impact on the world. And if you'd like to explore more about being an empath and how to navigate its challenges, consider checking out my previous video. The link will be in the description below. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or experiences you'd like to share. Thanks for watching, and I'd love if you liked and subscribed.